So it's time for our Guess the Year quiz. This is the part of the programme where I put Michael and Natasha's knowledge of history and the world to the test. They're both journalists, so they should pass with flying colours, right? Well, unfortunately, that's not always the case. The quiz is made up of 10 questions. I'll put 5 to each of our co-presenters, and they will get a point against their score for each year they are away from the answer. So the closer they guess, the lower the mess, as I describe it. Anyway, if they correctly guess the year, then they'll be rewarded with a score of -10. Remember, the aim of the game is to get as close to the correct year as possible and end up with the lowest score possible. So basically, it's the opposite of QI. Right, are you ready, Michael and Natasha?
I'm absolutely buzzing for this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're looking forward to it?
Can't go any worse than last week, so let's just get this over with.
Now, who wants to go first? Now, this will depend on what kind of set of questions you get. So, do you want the first set or the second set, Michael?
I'm inclined to say ladies first, but Tashi's shaking her head and pointing furiously at me, so I'll go first.
So, you want to go first? Okay. Are we ready?
Yep.
So, number 1. In what year did Diana Spencer, otherwise known as Princess Diana, die in a car crash in France's capital city, Paris? In what year did Diana Spencer, Princess Diana, die?
Now, I think I know this, not because of the event, but for the single that Elton John re-released, Candle in the Wind. And I believe the song is Candle in the Wind 97, so 1997 would be my guess.
Final answer?
Yes.
You'd be correct.
Boom!
So that's a score of -10. Michael's off the mark with his top score there. Natasha, are you ready for your first question?
Yes, I think.
Okay. In what year did Diana Spencer become Princess Diana? In other words, what year did she marry Prince Charles?
Ooh, lordy. Right.
You're a fan of the monarchy and kind of the history
Charles.
of it, so...
Not Charles, I'm afraid. Right. Now, it was definitely post-colour television, because their wedding was in colour. I'm trying to work out how old William is. I think he's about 30. So... right. You're laughing at me now.
I'm just glad I decided to go first, to be honest.
1978.
Final answer?
Yeah.
You're 3 years off. It's 1981. Diana was just 20 at the time, so had she got married when you said, she'd have been just 17.
That might have been a scandal.
They got married on the 29th of July, 1981. So
my birthday. Yeah,
so you were 3 years out. So Michael's on -10 at the moment, and Tash is on 3.
Brilliant.
Okay, there's plenty of time to get that back, though. So, Michael, your second question. In what year did the first episode of The X Factor UK air on our TV screens?
The first year. So I'm trying to think about who the first sort of winner was. I believe it was Steve Brooksty. I might have got that name wrong, but I think he did a cover of Phil Collins' Against All Odds. You can see all my answers are coming from music-based things, and I think it was Christmas #1.
In what year,
and
though?
I'm tying between 2004 and 2005. I'm going to go with 2004.
Final answer?
No, I'm going to go 2005.
Final answer?
I'm going to do a bit of a deal or no deal, swap the boxes. 2005 I'm going to go for.
You'd be incorrect. It was, in fact, 2004.
Oh,
so your first
no.
guess would have been correct, but you only get a score of +1. Okay, so... Natasha, question 2. I should also mention it was 2004. It was in September with a judging panel of Simon Cowell, Louis Walsh and Sharon Osbourne, with Kate Thornton as presenter. Remember her? Anyway, Natasha, question 2 for you. In what year was the first episode of The X Factor USA broadcast? In what year was the first episode of The X Factor USA broadcast?
I never watched an episode of X Factor in my life.
Good to know.
2008.
Final answer?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Again, 3 years out. It was 2011.
Oh, no.
So a score of +3 there. You're on +6.
I like the threes, don't I?
You do. The judges were Simon Cowell, L.A. Reid, Paula Abdul, and Nicole Scherzinger back in 2011. So, Natasha, you're on +6, and Michael is on -9. So you've still got time to make up for it. Michael, question 3 to you. In what year did the UK television network ITV start broadcasting? In what year did the UK television network ITV start broadcasting?
Now, I know that particular TV channel have been celebrating a birthday this year, and I can't remember if it was 30 years, 40 years, or 50 years. Now, there's a big difference if I were to go for 30 years or 50 years. I think it is 40 years old, which would make it 1975.
Can I guess and get 10 points?
You can't, I'm afraid. Okay. That's not how it works. We might introduce that feature later on, but at the moment, I'm just trying to get around my point system. So in 1975, final answer.
Yes.
You'd be incorrect. You're actually 20 years out. It was 1955.
Oh, my word.
So you get a score of +20 there, and Natasha is back in the game in dramatic style, courtesy of Michael there. It followed the Television Act in the previous year, which made commercial TV possible, and it was under Sir Winston Churchill's premiership, that was. That the Act was introduced. So, 1955, and obviously they were celebrating their 60th anniversary this year. So, a +20 score there for Michael. Natasha, third question to you. In what year did the British Broadcasting Corporation start broadcasting?
Right. I think there's some people who are going to tell me off if I get this wrong. Right. Start broadcasting as in radio, I believe. This is radio, isn't it?
It's broadcasting.
Okay.
Does broadcasting include radio?
Yes, I believe. It formed as a company in 1921, I think. Don't know if it started broadcasting then. I'm going to go 1921. 1921,
final answer?
Yeah.
You're 1 year off. It was 1922.
So it started broadcasting the year after, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a score of +1, but a very respectable score of +1. That was on radio, and the BBC TV service began in August 1932, so 10 years later. Very, very good guess there. Michael, question 4 to you. In what year did Robert Mugabe assume the office of President of Zimbabwe? In what year did Robert Mugabe assume the office of President of Zimbabwe?
I haven't the foggiest clue.
I'm so pleased. I've got you.
I have a funny feeling he's been president for ages.
Well, that's how it goes with dictators. So,
yeah. No, but when I mean ages, I mean ages. I mean...
Well, how old do you think he is now? He's about 90, isn't he, now?
He's ancient.
I'm gonna give my answer for the previous question. Say it again. I'm gonna go for 1975 again.
1975, final answer.
Yeah.
You are 12 years off. It was 1987. But he was Prime Minister of Zimbabwe for over 7 years before that position was abolished. Oh. So all in all, he's been at the helm of Zimbabwe for over 35 years. So you were originally fairly close because he came to office of Prime Minister in 1970, but obviously I was asking about the presidency of Zimbabwe, which he took up in 1987, so a +12 score for you on that one. Natasha.
Hello.
It's all of a sudden looking very positive for you.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, but you've still got to answer 2 more questions, so let's see how they go.
This is where it all goes wrong.
In what year did Vladimir Putin become President of Russia for the first time?
Oh, Lord.
In what year did Vladimir Putin, obviously he's in the news a lot recently, become President of Russia for the first time?
I am going to go completely out the blue. And 2005?
Not a bad guess, but you are still 5 years off. It was the year 2000. He served 2 terms as president, 2 4-year terms, then became PM after the Constitution didn't allow him to stand again. But then after 4 years of being Prime Minister, he got a little bit bored of that and just became President again, because he can, really. So you were 5 years off there, but a very respectable guess there with 2005. Michael, your final question and your final chance to get some points back. In what year was the film Pretty Woman, starring Julia Roberts and Richard Gere, released?
Again, this is one where I look back to my knowledge of music, and for some reason I see Pretty Woman by Roy Orbison as 1962. I don't know that.
You're going for 1962?
Yeah, the smile on your face seems to dictate that it was in there. And Tash is saying, no.
I'm going to have to take that as your answer.
I think it's more in the 80s.
The year was 1990. So
what?
The year was 1990. So you are how many years is that? 28 years out with that one. So that's a score of plus 28 on just that question alone.
I can't believe that.
So Richard Gere and Julia Roberts aren't that old.
No, but I don't know.
So
I just know it from the Roy Orbison classic.
Tasha, you just have to not get this completely wrong, and then you've won. I'm not sure about how many, but we'll top that up after the next song. So, in what year was the film Pretty in Pink, starring Molly Ringwald and John Cryer, released? What year was the film Pretty in Pink? Pretty in Pink, starring Molly Ringwald and John Cryer, released?
I've never heard of that film.
Pretty in Pink, isn't she? No?
That wasn't helpful, Jarrad.
Okay.
Just
it was a song.
This is where Michael wins. Let's go. Let's go. Let's just go 1980.
1980, final answer?
Yes.
You're 6 years off. It was 1986.
Okay.
So I think you've comfortably won. I'm not sure how many. I'll tot up the scores while this next song by The Jam is playing. We'll be back for another round of that next Monday. But before that, here is Town Called Malice. And just to confirm the scores from the Guess the Year quiz from earlier on.
I don't think anyone's interested in that, Jarrad.
Do you not?
I think we all are.
I do. So Michael finished on plus 51.
Not bad.
And Natasha finished with a very respectable score of 18. So just 18 years out from 5 guesses. So very well done, Natasha.
Thank you.